Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're gonna talk about tripods. So let's dive right into it. Well, first, what exactly we are talking about? We are talking about a tool that allows us to lock a camera in physical space. So basically here, or whatever have you. In my case, I'm utilizing two tripods. Tripod number one is here on top of my table, holding my Zoom H1n. Then there is tripod number two on top of which you guys are sitting. So that's the whole reality of it. Now generally whenever you are buying a tripod, especially a big one, I'm not talking tabletop, I'm talking of something big and substantial, you are generally trying to look for something that reaches your eye level. Now this is a very critical aspect, because again, if you are tall, many tripods that have awesome reviews, everybody is like, dude, this is the greatest thing ever, may not suit you if it does not come to your eye level. Now a little bit of tolerance can be accepted. It's not like exactly my eye level is here, my camera's eye viewfinder should exactly come here. A little bit up and down can be managed, specifically down, but you don't want to be crouching. That makes it very uncomfortable. So this is one critical aspect. You have to be very mindful of that. So please test your tripod height specifically. Now it allows you to easily shoot and focus on composition. So basically, even if you're doing natural photography or portrait photography or things of that nature, if you don't have to worry about the camera weight and all that. Now it does make your scene look a bit static, but if you're clever enough, you can make that add that into a pro kind of look, so to say. And then slow shutter is fundamentally only possible on a tripod. No matter how good IBIS becomes, it's not gonna be stable enough for where you can do long exposure photography. Just not gonna happen. And if you're talking about HDR photography, now again, many people don't like HDR simply because it becomes a bit too cartoonish, but some people like that because it's like over exaggerated. So up to you, you can do however you want to shoot those sort of scenarios. And stacking photography, which is compulsory for macro, because macro have ludicrously razor thin depth of field. In those sort of scenario, you will always be advised to buy basically tripod, because well, you can't do otherwise. So it's not optional, it's a compulsory exercise. Sooner or later you're gonna end up buying. Now there are two primary categories of basically tripods: photo tripods and video tripods. Now one thing you have to understand, photo tripods are specifically designed by engineers who are aiming for speed and aimability. Basically how quickly you can look at something, acquire it, take a shot and be done with it. So you will see ball mounts, you will see things basically that have quick release. Everything is designed around speed and be like how easy it is, how light it is to carry around and all that jazz. Now can you put a video camera on top of it? Yes. And now it is given the fact that many mirrorless are quite capable. Video camera example being a Sony a7S III, is like you may be able to utilize that itself for video work. However, that being said, there is a whole category of super expensive tripods which are solely built for videographing works. Now you may be like, why the heck they are so expensive? Well, they are targeted for different. Their engineers are focusing on smooth and steady motion. So basically they're assuming there is somebody behind the camera. Now if there is no one behind the camera, you don't need these things. But if you have someone behind the camera, where is like, you know, cameraman is trying to do pan and tilt and zoom and these sort of things, where think of it this way, let's say you have 2%, so the cameraman has to do pan and tilt regularly enough. You need something that can accommodate that. Can photographic tripod can do that? In principle, yes. In practice, good luck with that. So that's the whole reason. That's why video systems are completely independent market segment. Can you buy something that can do both? Yes, but it will be bad at both of them. So it's generally advisable. So if you're looking for a camera where you have someone behind the camera while making a video, get a video camera. And if you're like doing like me, where you have a camera locked in, you can utilize any tripod, it will work. So be mindful of that. Now generally weight is also another consideration, simply because video cameras are generally much more heavier. So you are talking about minimum of 5 kilograms to going upwards of 45 or 50 kilograms. Some video tripods are like so strong, so sturdy built that they show it off by like, you know, having some person sitting on top of it. It's that huge, like strongly built, so to say. Again, you may not need it, but again, it's a different class of beast. So if you ever wanted to see how strong broadcast camera tripods are, try to have a look at that. And for video world, there is a serious aspect. Because you want to do pan and tilt, you need a horizon that is absolutely stable. Now in photography, because nowadays most we have digital systems and the frames are huge megapixel wise, as in like 24 megapixel is bare. You can easily rotate and crop. You can't do that in video. I mean, like, you can do that, but good luck with that, it will cost too much. So generally they have leveling head. So this whole system will be on a ball socket where you can just unlock it from the bottom or top, depending how the design is, and you can just readjust it. So this alignment is critical in video work. Otherwise pan and tilt will become diagonals. So again, if you're looking for that, you may do that. Hey, let's say you are talking about two interviews who are like talking to each other, but they have very large height variation. You may want the camera to be like off-centered, so you have to panning like this. So again, up to you. And video cameras are video tripods are specifically designed to accommodate that use. Now, tripods are something that you may think, I just bought a tripod, the end, go home, sweet dreams. It's never like that. It generally has hell lot of accessories that you have to deal with. For example, mounting plates. Now, generally super duper cheap tripod like the tripod I have here is just only have a mounting screw. Now, that's good enough for point and shoot camera, but if you have a DSLR, I would urge you to not buy a tripod that works on that. Buy a tripod that has a mounting plates. And even very cheap ones, if they are poorly designed, they may have a custom or proprietary system. In those scenarios, don't buy them. Buy something that has multiple of these available, like at least 2 right off the gate, or sometimes where you're like, hey, I can buy a pack of 5 for like, few bucks. So that will allow you a lot of mounting options. I'm like, hey, I only have one camera. Here's the deal. You may have other things like a mobile phone. Mobile phone can also become quite awesome video tool. Specifically, you can physically lock them down. They are quite good. And if, let's say, for some reason your primary camera is down, more than good enough at that point in time. So having a second mounting plate, that's how I'm using it. You may have third one, which you may mount for basically with your flash. So you're like, why the heck I want to flash? Like, again, you can have wireless flash in those sort of scenario. A tripod mount on a flash, awesome. So that's why, do figure it out, like which plate it uses. Does it have the option to utilize any third-party plates for, or like those plates have an ecosystem or not? So these are kind of tedious things, but you have to think about that. Another aspect is ball head are generally made for stills photography, where you are focusing, your sole focus is speed, basically how quickly can you go there. Now these are generally preferred by people who want to utilize monopods, and they're like, just plonk it there, take a photo. They're good, but be mindful, they are not absolute. So specifically if you are doing very high resolution photography or portrait photography, and you're like, no, I want that eye level to be exactly eye level, yeah, people will say stay away from them. Now, good ball joints, they are very strong, and again, compared to good ball joints versus a sloppily built pan tilt head, yeah, you can understand. But generally, if you are spending a lot of money for ball joints, it's recommended to go for like pan tilt kind of scenario, simply because they will give you much more precise control. So again, if you need speed, go for ball mount. If you don't need speed, you don't need that instant speed, try to avoid them, because even the best one, it's like a little bit of creep. And if you forgot to tighten that up and you directly locked it up with let's say a telephoto lens, bad things could happen. Then pen tilt roll head, these are also like a kind of compromise between a video head and photography head, and they are quite good at everything. Specifically if you want to make what we call panoramic sphere, basically 360-degree sphere photography, those people love this. You will see many basically Google Maps, they have photosphere, those are taken by this. Again, you can utilize other tools also, but using this pen tilt roll head, it's quite amazing, because you can let's say level it down to, let's say, 10 degree, lock it, and just have another axis street, then move it up, lock it, rotate it. Like, it's quite awesome in those sort of regards. So people use that. Then you have fluid heads, generally with counterbalance. Now counterbalance simply means a spring force. So why would you want that? Think of this way: if you have a tripod and you have a head on top of which you have a camera, generally weighing around 3 to 5 kilograms, and you are gonna move them. If you don't have a resistance against it, and it's like very smooth, your muscles are not designed to work on a vacuum. Their muscles are designed to work against something. So when you have something heavy, you can be like, okay, I got this. You want a little bit of friction. Now depending on your muscles, you may want a lot of friction, you may want very little. So people want a way to control that. That's why these fluid heads generally have a knob of adjustment, where they can tighten or loosen it. So depending on you, it's like, hey dude, I need a lot of friction, I want to really dramatically pan this system. Up to you, however you want. And again, especially if you're talking about like this sort of motion, you need a counterbalance, because without counterbalance, you will like, you like the moment like you will cross the horizon, your camera will bounce back. It happens. That's why you need counterbalance. So you are still doing lightly, and spring is taking care of the main backlash, so to say. That's why they are so expensive. And then we come to vertical arm. I really wish I had that, because when I made a video about my watch, I didn't really need it. I was like trying to work in front of, like, I had a tripod, then trying to work around it was very uncomfortable. So in those sort of scenarios, you would really love this. I may buy that if I ever get pockets deep enough. So you have to understand, tripods generally come as like a first point of purchase. It's not like, oh, I bought it, forget about it. It's like, yeah, now buy this, now buy that, and that. And I'm talking about inside the same tripod. Specifically, that's why many people choose to go with expensive equipment, because they have an ecosystem. It's like you buy this and then you replace the head. You buy that end system, you can replace the feet with a rubber mount or spike mounts. Especially if you are dealing with slippery equipments, slippery slope of ice or things of that nature, people want spiky things. Now let's come to the budget, the most painful aspect. Now one thing, thankfully we can say about that is like any tripod is better than no tripod. You don't have a tripod, you want to do something seriously, get a tripod. As simple as that. Just get a tripod. Unless, like, again, if you're stupid enough, like you buy like a tripod that is meant for, like, mobile phone, and you put a DSLR on top of that, unless you are doing something that drastically stupid, you will be more than good enough. And I'm talking around 2000 rupees on Amazon, you will get more than good enough equipments that will satisfy basically. That will help you more than good, more than enough scenario where you're like, okay, this is what I need, this is what my tripod does, or maybe what you need in the future. Because you have to understand it, tripods are very expensive, and people generally encourage each other to buy very expensive equipment, specifically when it comes to tripod. Why? They have very long lasting equipment. If your tripod does not have a magic hoo-ha and all that jazz, you are talking about a tripod equipment that could be working for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And there are people who have that. Heck, there are news broadcast agency that, like, came and went under, and their tripods are sold in auction markets by banks, because yeah, that's how expensive these things are, and that's how long lasting they are. So know your needs. Like, what exactly do you need? Now if you know your need, then you can compensate for that. It's like, okay, exactly that's why I specified buy a cheap one. And if you're like, dude, I really need pan head, invest in that. If you're like, dude, I don't need that, that's more than good enough, but I would like my tripod to be lighter, invest in carbon fiber one. Don't invest in fancy heads. That's why I specified get a cheap one. That will help you. It's like, dude, I need this, or I don't need this, I can live with that. If you can live with that, hey, spend it on somewhere where else. Get memory card, because again, those are consumables. So that's why you have to understand your need, and that's why a basic bitch camera tripod will help you more than good enough. And then it will teach you. It's like, dude, do you need the ability to go very down to the ground? Now you'll be like, why do you need that? Again, let's say you are doing some sort of photography on top of mountain and it's extremely windy. You really want that as low as possible. That will help you to get more stable photography. Otherwise your lens will be fighting the wind itself. Or sometimes you are doing macro photography or something that is close to the ground, some flowers, some grasses and things of that nature. You may want that. So again, you have to know the limitation of a tripod. Only then you're like, no, investing in that is useless for me, I don't use that, or investing in this is useful for me. So you have to do that. And generally expensive tripods have a lot of versatility, but does not mean it will suit you. That's fine. Knowing your needs is critical. And generally there are two philosophies you will find. One is strong and sturdy. It's like built like a tank, is designed to take a hit beating and keep on going. And then there will be compact and light one. Now if you travel a lot, they will classify these as travel tripods, and strong and sturdy ones generally could be tripods like video capable or flat or video itself. So it's up to you, budget up to you. And if you live in a big city and you are a bit comfortable with your hands and working on yourself, you can try to build a aluminum tripod. I have provided a video guide below of a dude who built that. It was like 12 kilograms. I'm like, that's huge, heavy. Again, he works on video and he wants to deal with have a camera equipment that is like, RE, Alexa and things of that nature. Strong, heavy camera, and where you cannot talk to them, oh, okay, camera got destroyed simply because my tripod collapsed. You can't have that luxury. And he built it. It's quite amazing. Like, it's nothing fancy about it, but it's like, yeah, built it and forget it. It's like never ever he's gonna have any issue. And even if it breaks, let's say, again, metal are indestructible, but to a certain extent they could also fail, and if it fails, he can replace it. So it was quite amazing. I would urge you to watch that video. So that's up to you. Start with the basic, learn what you need, and if you are in a big city or you have a lot of access to makerspace, make your own tripod. Enjoy, man. So this was my presentation about tripods. I hope you liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.